Welcome back. It is Zach Miller and Peter Hale, and it's the Midtown Madness Podcast. Before we get going, thank you all so much for listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below if you have anything, what you want to respond to anything we're talking about or what we're not talking about. Let us know in the comments, please. We've gotten a couple more comments than usual the last few weeks, so appreciate you guys for that. The pre-sponsor segment, everybody knows it. An open invitation to Chris May to come talk on the show about Billiken athletics, past, present, and future. A huge thank you, of course, goes out to not just the listeners, but the listeners who have supported us by supporting Two Men in a Garden these past few years. Thanks to you, they are, of course, back for the 25-26 season of the Midtown Madness Podcast. We can't thank Joel and the team over at Two Men in a Garden enough for keeping the Midtown Madness Podcast lights on, so to speak. They are the St. Louis Salsa and Pickle Company, bringing you everything from mild to screaming hot, including hot mango and sugar-free. They have pickles from classic dill to smoky barbecue. Ask Kellen Thames about their pickle juice. Maybe Carlos Leatherman probably had some pickle juice from Two Men in a Garden as well the other night. Visit them online at twomeninthegarden.com to shop your favorite flavors and learn more about their Kitchen Hub STL. You can follow them on social media at Two Men Salsa on Instagram and Twitter for the latest updates. Pete, let's get this program rolling here. The good news this week. I mean, it was pretty much all good news. It was the whole week.
Yeah, I can't really think of much bad news, Zach. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about here.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. We've got men's soccer is into the Sweet 16. Men's basketball takes care of business by 31 points against PFW. It's PFW now. I learned that this week. The bad, not a lot out there this week, man. I think I'm pretty content with the way things went on the field.
Yeah, women's basketball lost, but otherwise, no. I mean, they put up a good fight on the road, so it wasn't terrible.
I mean, not also, I mean, what are we doing here? Sometimes I just don't have anything, and that's a good thing. That is the best thing. So I don't have anything bad to rant about, which is also kind of a bummer because it's kind of fun every now and then.
Every now and then it's fun, but I think it's more productive this week to get into the good stuff, Zach.
Let's do it. And by the way, I will timestamp. We're going to lead off with soccer this week. It's the NCAA tournament. We hope you understand. But I will leave a timestamp in the description of the video. So or maybe I'll try to do the thing where it separates the chapters in a video. I'll try that if I have time. Let's talk about the Billiken soccer team, Pete. They are again Sweet 16 bound.
They are. It's been a few years, Zach, since they made that Elite Eight run out to Washington in the swampy, treacherous field that they played on out there. But they are back in the Sweet 16, and it feels like, I don't want to say a team of destiny, Zach, but it's not surprising, given that this was just a really good collection of players that had kind of an interesting season, not a really offensive powerhouse kind of team. But a really good team nonetheless. And I can't say that this is all that surprising.
I would say that I guess just based on results, kind of the status quo for Billiken soccer. They did go to the Elite Eight, and it was unbelievable and one of the coolest experiences as a Billiken fan to follow that. But they've generally been a 1-2 and out. 1 or 2 games and out. So, and it's usually against a team like Indiana, or a Marquette, or like I don't know, a Big East team. That really seems to be like our wheelhouse, and so it was a little bit surprising that we did indeed win both games this week. Because we went in reverse order last week, Pete. I think with this week, we should go in chronological order because it's within a tournament.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, you got to set it up, starting out with Kentucky and moving on to Indiana.
We will kick it off with the Kentucky game. It was a 2-1 win in overtime, Thursday the 20th. Beautiful. I thought it was for how damp it was during the day. That the evening turned out to be beautiful and not too cold.
It was hard to tell on camera, Zach. Like on the TV screen, it was just very gray and it looked kind of wet and cold. So it's good to hear that it wasn't too bad there because yeah, you just like on the screen, it just maybe looked like it was worse than it was, and I guess that was just the fog having that effect.
Yeah. Um, it was the Billikens' 52nd NCAA tournament appearance, a D1 record. Um, uh, this one, Kentucky really content to play long balls into the Billiken half of the field and play off that target forward. They were really good at it too, Pete.
Yeah, they were. They just continued to keep playing the ball long and get these really quickly developed attacks going. And it was a little bit dangerous there at times, Zach.
Meanwhile, SLU, I thought, recognized the weaknesses in Kentucky in the Kentucky backline. Kentucky had a gigantic backline, Pete, which sounds not safe for work. A gigantic backline.
Don't Google that, whatever that's going
Yeah.
to give you.
Don't. It would be a real shame if you clipped that. Just
They
don't
ha-
clip that.
They had they had some beef back there, Zach. There was like really big dudes on that band. I
Yes.
was they did not look like soccer players. I'll put it that way.
No, and I think SLU, like I said, recognized that. They wanted the Kentucky backline to turn around and run back
Yeah,
towards the goal. They looked unbelievably uncomfortable, and I was actually surprised that the Billikens did not get a goal exploiting that weakness.
for sure. Yeah, it was clearly part of the game plan. They're big defenders. Sometimes you see guys like that, and they're kind of those like deceptive athletes, right? Like you're like, oh, that's the kind of guy I'm taking for granted. But he absolutely has the goods. But in this case, Zach, they did not look all that fast or coordinated or anything like that. It was kind of surprising.
Yeah, they really struggled with the ball at their feet. I felt like
Hmm.
every time the Billikens put them under pressure, they did not look the most fluid, moving the ball side to side between the defenders and then back to the goalkeeper. So I really felt good about our chances if we could, put them in a little bit of a pickle back there, a 2 men in a garden pickle, if you will.
There you go.
You know,
But unfortunately, Zach, in the fifth minute, Augustine Lopez got Kentucky on the board first with a low skipping ball from about 5 yards outside the box. It really came from a poor clearance. First with a header from Leatherman that didn't go very far, and then an awkward lob. Delkus kind of put off the outside of his foot, like he was just trying to get some contact on it to lob it out of the box, but he didn't get nearly enough on it. Came off the outside of his foot, just to this kind of an awkward arc, right to Lopez. He collected it, squared up, and just threaded the defense.
yeah, just it felt like a gut punch. It was completely within the run of play too. It was, I mean,
Yep.
you could not. I said get the smelling salts out today.
Yeah.
It was one of those just really kind of disjointed, being second to every ball, not necessarily reading which way the ball is headed and not being ready. Just felt like they needed a wake up call, and this seemed to be it.
Hmm.
As the Billikens kind of turned it around. Uh, However, in the 32nd minute, Pete, some controversy. Now, I don't. There's no controversy here, but it looked as though Kentucky had doubled their lead.
Yeah, so they scored on a rebound after Abonnel laid out for a nice save. They got the rebound, put it in, but it was reviewed and reversed for offsides. They had two players offsides. One was pretty clear, but the guy who actually scored it was not quite as clear on the limited replay we got on the broadcast. And Zach, I honestly I thought SLU didn't have much urgency at all here, so I think they got a little bit lucky. But then all of their players immediately were calling for that offsides. You know,
I
sometimes you
mean,
don't know if it's
that's
BS or not. But I don't know. They seem to know that he was.
yeah, I didn't necessarily I didn't know anybody was offsides in the run of play watching it live, but
Hmm.
I went back on the ESPN and I fairly quickly figured out that it was obvious when you pulled up the video that guy was like interjecting himself in the play while being offsides. He
Sure.
impacted the play.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, the
yeah.
ball went through his legs, and he did the whole I don't know, that classic cartoon
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, he was in an offside position, blocked Abonnel's view of the ball on that initial shot. It was pretty obvious, and I mean, I'm just glad they got it right,
Yeah.
because that would have been a tough road to hoe.
Well, this is not a team that really you feel like can come back from a 2 goal deficit. You know, 1 goal is one thing, but if they get down two, they just don't have that kind of offense. There were a few other good chances in the first half. Heckenleibel had a shot that went just wide shortly after Kentucky's goal. UK put one barely over the crossbar late in the
He had it
half.
covered. He had it covered.
Okay, it landed on the top of the
I
netting.
don't
It
know.
was it
I
was
don't
close.
know. I'm kidding.
It was close.
I'm kidding.
But in the second half, Zach, they were mostly content to kind of park the bus and just defend out the rest of the game.
Yeah, the Billikens really kind of asserted their will in the second half. It felt like it was a crescendo that began with the first of the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Kevin Larson, it kind of came to a boil in the 83rd minute when Kevin Larson picked up a second yellow card. Kentucky, I mean, it looked like a clear foul in person.
Hmm.
Looking back, like looking at the video, I don't know. But Kentucky, of course, with that second yellow, they had to play the rest of the match with a man down. And I think this right here, excuse me, this right here is when not only the Billiken soccer team, but the fans in Herman Stadium really
Yes.
smelled blood in the water.
Yeah. You could hear it on the broadcast too. It's just like everything got louder.
Yes.
We were already kind of on, like, not necessarily that we had them on their heels, but we were already pushing forward. And you just felt like the breakthrough was going to happen. And then sure enough, just 2 minutes after he
Well,
went off the field.
I want to talk about that crescendo of fan interaction, or fan, I don't know, they got excited. What happened is, you saw on the broadcast when I look back, because literally I've been a sicko all weekend, just like alternating replays of the game,
Hmm.
like the basketball and then the soccer games, like true sicko shit. And well, it's gotten me off YouTube, which is good for me. But um anyway, so you could see like people start to line up there on the rope on the sideline, and it just
Yes.
continues to grow. It started a little before that red card, and then it just grows and grows and grows, and you've got them, lined up past the halfway line of the Billiken attacking end. And eventually that switched in overtime, or the final extra time, to the side that the Billikens were attacking. But
Yeah.
you could feel the energy was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was an awesome environment. And of course, like you said, 85th minute, Jack DiMaria.
Yeah, Zach, he let go of a rocket from about 30 yards out. Now, I say a rocket. It was a tricky ball, right? Like the UK keeper looked like he had it all the way. Like watching this initially on the broadcast, you kind of thought, okay, he's there, but he bobbled it. He had his arms out, bobbled it, and it went by him into the side of the net. And it was just like, I think there was a little bit more on that ball than met the eye initially.
Yeah, it had a ridiculous amount of swerve on it.
Hmm.
I what if you have a chance, have somebody who is like a sick soccer player take a shot on you, like maybe pad up first If you're not like, if you're a little skittish, that's fine. I totally get it. It's terrifying. And even if they hit it right at you, like try to hit it right at you with swerve on it, like it will move at the last minute. You have got to absolutely watch it all the way into your hands. It's crazy how much they can put on that ball.
Yeah, and it seemed like, especially on replays, you kind of saw like, okay, there was a little bit more, as you say, swerve on this thing than maybe we initially thought. Keeper mishandled it, and there you go, 1-1. And Zach from there,
your tweet though was outrageous, by the way.
I do
was
have
an
kids.
outstanding.
I said,
It was outstanding.
yeah. He tried to save it with a 6-7, like he
Yeah,
had his
yeah,
his hand.
yeah.
He kind of bobbled it with his palms up.
Yeah.
You know what, guys?
Hey.
I have a 6-year-old. I have a 9-year-old. I have to deal with this every day. But there's from there, Zach, like the energy. You talk about the fan build up and them following the action. The result kind of felt inevitable. It
Yes.
just felt like Kentucky had nothing left to throw at us. Went to a golden goal overtime, 2 10-minute periods.
I thought we went away from golden goal. Like, are we back?
I guess so. I also thought it was over.
I don't.
Caught
Anyway,
me off guard.
by the way, we're going to talk about the chaos in this tournament, but Virginia's out of the game, out of the tournament.
There goes another seeded team.
And there's going to be a fight apparently.
All right. Well, we'll get to that.
Holy smokes.
So Zach, chances on net, Billikens had more in overtime. Like they just kept attacking. It was more of the same that they ended the second half with, right?
Yeah, they were outstanding. They attacked for the entire first period. They could not break through. See, in this game, there's so many great storylines. Carlos Leatherman vomits between the first and second overtime periods after drinking too much pickle juice to stave off the cramps.
Yeah.
And then in the 104th minute, Carlos Leatherman puts Eric Onos on skates, the Kentucky defender. Unbelievable move. Sends the ball across for DiMaria, who angles it past the keeper for the sudden death win. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've watched this video more times than I care to admit, and I still cannot see DiMaria touch this ball.
He just grazed it into the net. It was his left foot because he's facing Leatherman, so his left side is what was goal side, right? Because Leatherman's over in the right corner, sends it across, and it's just the lightest touch, Zach. I think he just got it with the outside of his left.
Did it hit a Kentucky player?
I don't think so. I think it was just a ball that came in quick, hit the right just the right angle, and he put it in. It's definitely a replay that I had to watch several times because I was like, who even touched that? Like at first I just didn't even know who had hit that ball. Really amazing angle, really amazing finish, and what a fun game in the end, Zach. I mean, from a game that started out looking like a disaster in the first 5 minutes and maybe even worse 32 minutes in when we thought they had a second, it really turned around into a fun game.
Yeah, it did. By the way, Leatherman should be in prison right now for the way he beat that Kentucky defender. It was disgusting. I don't know. I just want to get straight to the storylines, but I will say when Billiken soccer is good, Herman really should be considered an American soccer mecca. And I'm not going to back down from how insane of a take that is. But I do want to, in watching the NCAA tournament, it's incredible. Some of these stadiums, like the idea that Herman is first class is a complete myth right now. I've never seen anything like some of these stadiums. Princeton's is unbelievable, built in 2019. I just tweeted about it today. But honestly, Herman is, it's one of the best fields in the country. The rest of it has some improvements that it needs, but it's an American soccer mecca, especially when the Billikens are dominating.
Yeah, it is. And there's no question, maybe it's been passed by a little bit in terms of the facilities for fans, the stands, to
Yeah.
sit in and everything like that. But it's a great pitch, it's a great backdrop. It's got a lot of history there, obviously. And SLU fans show up. It's just different. Like it's still a soccer town in a big way. So I'm not going to disagree with you at all. But Zach, you're right. There are some good storylines in this game, and for two players in particular who stood out here.
Yeah, of course you have Jack DiMaria who had 2 goals in the game, and then of course you have Carlos Leatherman vomiting on the field and then getting the game-winning assist. I
Yeah.
just think I don't know who to give the ball to,
I think it's got to go to DiMaria. That's his first and second career goals.
which is
And
wild, by the way, to get your first and second career goals to send your local team through to
yeah,
the next round is just, I mean, you can't write it up better than that.
it's also kind of shocking because he was so good all year.
Yeah.
He was a little bit more of a setup man, but he's a really, really skilled player. I love watching him play, probably more than anybody else on the team. But Carlos Leatherman's another one, Zach. Like it's undeniable how good he was in this game. And it's funny because even as you say, he should be in prison for for what he did to that Kentucky defender.
Abuse.
Yes. For the first couple touches, I kind of thought like, okay, he doesn't have a plan here. He's just kind of going back and forth and
It's freestyle and
don't waste this possession. You're in the box. But then that last move where he got that bit of separation and put it way over to the right, well, that was I genuinely like my mouth opened in shock.
yeah,
Because I just
you
didn't
could
think that
hear
was
the
happening.
you could hear the crowd on the
Oh
broadcast
yeah,
too.
yeah, for sure. You
It's
absolutely
crazy.
could because I think a lot of other people were like, okay, do something, because it kind of felt like he didn't have an end game with that one, but he turned it around. But no, the whole game, like they struggled with him the entire game. He really put his stamp on this thing. So I would hand it to Di Maria, but it's no disrespect to Carlos. I think he had a great game.
Not at the table, Carlos. The shots. By the way, I've been rewatching those movies. They hold up wonderfully.
Good to hear.
The shots were 14 to 4 Billikens. Kentucky did not have a shot after the first half. The shots on goal were 8-3 Billikens. Corners were 11-4 Billikens, and then Kentucky beat the shit out of our guys, 15-4. Just an all around, like, it was just a fun game, like you said, an incredibly fun game. Comparatively to the second round matchup, a 1-0 win at 6 seed Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana, Sunday the 23rd. A college soccer rivalry that needs, to quote Al Michaels, needs no superfluous adjectives. It is a classic.
It's a classic.
It is
They've
Indiana red. It is Billiken blue. When these two teams, like, it's the Robeson brothers, you have the Robeson brothers storyline, Kevin and Michael. It just so much baked into this story.
Yeah, you really do, Zach. And it's these are the two college soccer programs historically, right? Like our era was a little bit earlier. There's a little bit later, but the teams with the most titles, the most history, just undeniable. And so it's a really compelling second round matchup with an unfortunately early start, though, Zach.
Yeah, I gotta say, I if Indiana set this up, like, I see what they did here because
Hmm.
there's really only two options. There's not a great option for Billiken fans. Like, you either have to spend the extra money for the hotel the night before or get up
Hmm.
at the ass crack of dawn.
Yeah,
Not even 5
right.
a.m., 6 a.m. To get up there on time. So, I mean, what did they try to do that to, maybe discourage some travel fans?
Yeah, I don't know because the way that these start times have been staggered all day, you're talking about what, 16 games here, and we still have
It's
some
been a
games
hell
going
of
on
a
right
day.
now. So,
Yeah.
so I don't know how much say they had over the game time, but yeah. didn't do any favors for our fans, that's for sure.
No. 11 a.m. start time. Despite that less than ideal start time, there were quite a few Billiken students that made the trip. It looked like the cheerleaders made the trip. I don't know if in an official capacity, but they were there. The Neislers made the trip. They got the camera caught them early on the broadcast, Pete.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And it looks like there was a good shot after the game of all the SLU players in front of the bleachers where all the SLU fans had come down. And just a lot of white and blue up in Indiana's.
Sounds nice. Make it twice.
So it was just great to see. Yeah, really solid turnout up in Bloomington.
The first 15 minutes of this game, Pete, we need to talk about it because these 15 minutes were really why I felt it necessary to kick off the show with UK. Because once again, the Billikens looked incredibly passive.
Yeah. Yeah, they really leaned on Abonnel to kind of save their bacon. Quite a bit. He was solid back there. It just kind of
solid is an absolute understatement. Abonnel was outstanding. It just looked as like it felt like the Billikens have been this team where they're deferential to their teammates, like they're pointing at each other to the ball. That'll move. They're waiting for someone else to kind of make a play. They expect their teammate to get the ball, a loose ball, when it could be either one of them, and then nobody goes and gets it. So it was frustrating the way that first 15 minutes played out. It was very reminiscent of that UK game, and my feeling was if they were to concede as they did against Kentucky, there was no coming back from it.
That's right. Yeah. As good as Kentucky is, you're talking about now the 6 overall seed, right? Like this is,
and mind you, by the way, Indiana comes into this game as the 6th seed. They did not even make the Big Ten soccer tournament. They went 5-5 in conference.
You said that, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, how do you get to be the 6 overall? Yeah, that made no sense to me. And like, how was the Big Ten tournament structured? I don't even know.
I'm assuming it's a 4-team tournament.
Okay. Yeah, that it just really surprised me when you said that.
I'm just guessing.
No, you're right. So it was Maryland was the 1 seed, Washington and Michigan were the 2 and 3, and then UCLA was the 4. Indiana finished 5th in the league, so right outside of those top 4.
So then Indiana, they had not played a game since November 3rd, I think they said on the broadcast.
Wow.
So they had a 20-day layoff. And, somebody asked us, they asked us on Twitter whether we thought that, or they were wondering whether that the layoff would impact the game. And I don't know if it did. I don't think it did.
Yeah, you can argue it both ways, right? Like sometimes there's a layoff that's long enough. You hear this every season when we're talking about the NCAA tournament, because there are certain conferences that have their tournaments a full week before other ones, or there are teams that don't go very far in their tournament, and then teams that make deep runs, and you argue over whether is this team hot? Do you have to worry about the hot team, or have they played too much? Do they have tired legs? So you can make that argument about momentum and rest and all of those things, and there's so many variables. But there is something to be said for a team that's been on the couch for 3. And okay, fine, they're practicing and everything like that. But 3 weeks is a long time to go without any game action whatsoever, and then you have to come out and play an NCAA tournament game against a high level team. It's weird. What kind of impact did it have? I don't know. Would you rather have the rest or what?
I mean, so that's an interesting point, because this was the Billikens' third game in 7 days too.
Yeah. So the very opposite.
I mean, it is the exact opposite. And I think that led to the kind of strategy that, you could say they tried to get up early and hold on for dear life, which they did. They did hold on for dear life once they got up. But I think that you saw a little more counterattacking style because this team didn't have the legs.
Sure.
So I think you saw that third game in 7 days play out in the last 45 minutes of this match, where the Billikens were just, defending like heroes.
So not just parking the bus because you've got a 1-goal lead, but also because like out of necessity, right? Like
Yeah.
they've just got tired legs the way Indiana doesn't. So the fear here is, Zach, the way that those first 15 minutes go, you worry about if we go down,
Yes.
we're in big trouble. Because once again,
Yes.
we talked about Kentucky. If they go up 2 goals, that's a different game. If Indiana goes up even 1 goal, you just feel like,
Especially at Yeagley Field.
that's right. Yeah, it's a problem. But
However,
luckily,
we didn't have that problem because Mr. Anderson in the 17th minute, out of thin air, Abonnel plays a long ball into Indiana's half. Theo Franca flicks it on with a header. The IU defender loses track of the ball trying to track Anderson, bounces off his back, falls in front of Anderson, who hits it first time, beating the keeper to the far left corner of the net. This was lightning in a bottle.
it really was. And you watch this play, and I'm like, he had, well, for one, there was nowhere else he could have gone with the ball. If he went to the right side of the net, the defender had it blocked because the defender by this point had taken an extra step to his right. So he had to go left. But the keeper was out far enough to where he had what looked like the angle completely cut off. So somehow he beats the defender that's right on him. He beats the keeper that has cut off what looks like almost the entire rest of the net. And the ball still makes its way in just inside that far left post. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how many times you would have to attempt something like that to make it work. I have no idea, but it was really impressive. By the way, did it hit off of you said it hit off the defender's back? I thought it was his head. Like he headed it down to himself.
Over the top, it hit off they came together and it was
bang.
I mean, it could have gotten stuck between them if they didn't move. But yeah, I look, I think SLU the way the goal came together, it was SLU continuing to look really comfortable, making the opposing back line uncomfortable by playing that ball over the top and making them defend running towards the goal. It's almost like an onside kick in football where they want to put the opposition in the most awkward situation. So it's almost like they want to drop the ball right on their head in a way, just really, I don't know, but it was an excellent play. It was apparently the first career assist for both Abonnel and Franca. I didn't know we did hockey assists.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. Because the last time SLU had one was 4 years ago. Patrick Schulte had one. That was also in an NCAA tournament game in the second round, Long Island at Herman. So
Speaking
that was
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was the last time we had one. So yeah, I knew goalies could do it. I don't know if
I know goalies can do it, but like I didn't know if it was a third, like if they counted the 2 passes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't know that. No, we did the NCAA women's tournament. They had a goalie goal.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah, I forget who it was, but I saw it on the Twitter. Yeah, Indiana was out shooting the Billikens 7-0 before Anderson's goal, but the Billikens looked comfortable with that bargain, that kind of letting Indiana just kind of hold them in and pass around and try to find a way to break down that vaunted Billiken defense when it stays compact. They played lockdown defense for the most part. Obviously, Indiana had some really great opportunities. But then they tried to hit on the counter attack. They used that target forward flick on that Kentucky really tried to use against us.
So yeah, so you had those Hail Marys, and they also threw in a little bit of nice possession here and there. But Zach, I also saw that you tweeted out that they were kind of playing with a lack of awareness and kind of giving up some unnecessary chances as well early on.
Yeah, I talked about that in the UK game. It was a little bit, and it showed again early. It just felt like the ball, when you see somebody try to uh, judge a spinning soccer ball, it's got a lot of spin on it, and they have no idea how to judge it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it felt like with every movement of the ball. Is just like it was one of those where we get the ball, it bounce away, or it would be within our guy's reach, but he doesn't think it's within his reach, so he doesn't go get it. And it was just the miscommunication and just too many unnecessary chances that didn't really need to materialize. SLU should have snuffed them out. And the Billikens don't really find themselves playing in a hurry. Sometimes it does bite them. I think we saw it against UK and Dayton, and we saw it in this game. There were a lot of times where they didn't come to the ball, a lazy pass and not coming to the ball. I don't know. That was something they struggled with, I thought. And the thing about the chances for Indiana is just, it seemed to come off errors where the midfield players weren't in connection. It's just a lot of disconnect. Of course, you mentioned Abonnel. He stood on his head in this one, Pete.
Yeah, he was outstanding yet again, Zach. But keeping Indiana from scoring, not just early on. He was fantastic the whole game, but really those first 15 minutes, as SLU was trying to get their footing, he was there. He was already there. He was solid. And after the game, Kalish called him the best goalkeeper in the country, with a pretty fair amount of certainty too.
Yeah, that's literally the quote. I should have put that in quotes. He said he's the best goalkeeper in the country and I say that with a great amount of certainty.
Well, there you go. So more than a fair amount.
Yes. I had someone text me, Pete, about 25 minutes to go in the match and said Indiana equalizing feels inevitable. I responded, don't put that in the ether. But also I didn't feel that way. It's easy to say that now, Pete, because SLU was in a very defensive posture for most of that second half. But from that defensive posture, it didn't feel like they were totally parking the bus either.
I missed the end of this game because I had to go coach my son's team.
Yes.
Indoor season. Yeah.
Yes.
By the way, they were a fantastic outdoor team. Indoor, we have a lot to learn.
It's a bastard sport.
It really, really is. And it doesn't help that we're playing all club teams.
I do love indoor soccer, by the way. I have a very big soft spot for indoor soccer. I find I love playing it, honestly, but
yeah, we won our first game and then have kind of gotten smacked in the mouth these next two. And yeah, anyway.
Let's get back to the Billikens.
Much different game. But my point is I missed this part of the game, right? So what I would do is, I'd have a little stoppage and kind of just pull out my phone and glance at it.
Oh my God, you're the worst coach ever.
Well, I could kind of see what was going on because I had the broadcast going, put it back in my pocket, and then, then our game's on, and then I all of a sudden feel like 4 or 5 different texts come through, and I was like, we either just gave up the most brutal goal ever, or this thing's over. And we stole one. So after our game, I looked down and see everybody I had a bunch of celebratory texts from a few different people. So it was kind of one of those things what a relief. But I didn't have to sit there, Zach, like you did, and have to deal with the emotion or the vibe of the game. Like, is this one where they're going to break through? Is this one where we hold off? I don't know. I guess I was more calm that way, but I
was fairly calm. I just was counting. I do the 5-minute increments in my head. You play you win the next 5 minutes, win the next 5 minutes, win the next 5 minutes. And, it just, the only thing I didn't like out of the Billikens in this half was that I felt that they had some good opportunities to possess the ball, but they would clear it. When in doubt, play it
Yeah,
out.
right.
I thought Gershon Henry had a fantastic game. They mentioned him on the broadcast. He had two tough games, I thought, Kentucky and Dayton.
Yep.
So it was good to see him come back and play really well. Leatherman, of course, again, all over the place. A man possessed, had the ball at his feet quite often in this one. I thought DiMaria, of course, put in a hell of a shift in this one.
Hmm.
Pete, I mean, just reactions, I guess. Or actually, let's go down the stats because we have that in a minute. We'll get back to that.
Yeah, so Indiana outshot SLU 16-3, 3-1 in
Is that
shots on
good?
goal. Yeah, obviously that one shot on goal was the one that mattered, right? Corners were 8-0. Fouls, SLU had 13 to Indiana's 8. SLU had all 3 yellow cards. Kalish got one late for something from the bench.
I have
Gersh-
no idea what he got that for.
Gershon Henry had one in the 86th minute. So yeah, obviously the box score would indicate that Indiana should have won this game. But obviously that's not how this game works. This was somehow SLU's first win over Indiana in an NCAA tournament game. It was their 6th meeting, so they were 0-5 before that. It
I
was their
buy
first win
that
over the
though.
Hoosiers. Yeah, I mean, sure. I figured there just would have been one from back in the day or something, right? It's their first win over the Hoosiers in Bloomington since 1999, which is crazy because the game that we played earlier this year in Bloomington was one where SLU actually outplayed Indiana, but came away with a 1-0 loss instead. So it's a cruel sport like that. But Zach, I really want to go over like it's not just anybody they played here, right? Like we talked about few years ago, we played Long Island in the second round. That's just not, there's not a big storyline there between SLU and Long Island. But this game, as we kind of said in the beginning, it just means a little bit more.
It much like the SEC, Pete. It just means more. This is, I mean, we went through the rivalries when we talked about it the first time that this would be comparable to in the college basketball realm.
No, that's right.
It's,
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, it's like UCLA and, I mean, it might be Indiana.
right.
I don't know. Maybe like more of like it would be like UConn and somebody. I don't know. It doesn't matter
I think
anymore.
UCLA was the best comparison. I mean, you're talking about, like we said, the two most storied programs in the sport's history, and the team with the most titles and the second most titles, but those titles have not been interspersed. Like we had ours early,
Yes.
they had theirs more recently, and there's something more exciting, maybe a little sexier about being the team that has been more dominant recently.
Have you seen the hair on some of the guys? Like, talk about sexy. Talk about that hair back when we won our national championships.
That's I will never disparage those guys. This is a classic all-American dudes right there. But this is just it really is, it's a big deal rivalry, it's a big deal history. And now that, we've got a tournament win over it just kind of like sort of evens things out, right?
It tilts. It tilts. It could be a flashpoint in the trajectory of the programs.
if Indiana wins this game, they can go, well, you guys used to be the big deal program and now we are. That's just kind of how it works.
I mean,
And
that's kind of how it had been.
it really
Anyway.
has been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to have that swing the other way, even if it's just for this round, it is meaningful. And yeah, this is just, it's the blue blood matchup of blue blood matchups in this sport.
Yeah, it was a great game. I love beating Indiana. It just feels like we never get the best of them. Even
Hmm.
when we had won here, like it means something more to win at Indiana. And I think
Sure.
that I think the NCAA part is great and all, but what is it? Since 99? I mean, I don't even know. Like, I'm sure I was going to games then, but like that's been a minute.
It's a really long time. Yeah.
It's,
So yeah,
20, 26 years.
yeah, yeah, 26 years. So
Yes.
yeah, very long time.
I mean,
I was in high school.
there's assistance on this team. that
Right.
were not alive the last time we beat Indiana and Bloomington.
Yeah, and certainly none of the players. Uh,
So maybe there
were
might be
alive at that
a
time.
couple of COVID bonus years guys that are still around.
Yeah, some 27-year-olds. But no, Zach, I kind of my initial reaction here I put in the notes is I kind of felt like we stole this one. But I think you thought that word was maybe a little hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were like I just I don't think we played bad. I think we played a game. We had a game plan to try to hit against the run of play, and then hold on to our butts for
Hmm.
the rest of the afternoon. And hey, they don't ask how.
That's right. Zach, so we now know who our next opponent is, but before we get to that, I actually kind of want to go through how crazy this tournament has been today,
It
this
has
round
been
of 32.
absolutely insane. You have well, talk about all the seeds are going down.
Number one overall seed Vermont lost at home in the snow to Hofstra.
Yes, Blizzard.
Num- Number three Princeton, it fell to Duke today. Duke, obviously a good program and everything,
They went
but
down
not
to
seeded.
10 men. Um, they Duke tied the game at even strength, and then the Princeton Tigers got a red card. The goalie got a red card actually
Oof.
because he made the save. Wait, what happened? No. Their forward got the red card. The goalie made the save. The forward jumped over the goalie, but like kicked him in the head.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah, like clipped him with his shin guard
That'll
and
do it.
a red card. Man, I think it was a second yellow, so he was
So,
gone.
so obviously, number six seed Indiana's gone. Number eight seed Portland is down early in their game to Denver.
No, to
Portland, who we
Grant.
know
Oh,
is
Portland. Sorry.
Grand Canyon, is up 1-0 on number nine seed San Diego, and that's just the top half of the bracket. Number five SMU fell to Washington. Number 12 seed Stanford is playing Kansas City right now. They're scoreless. Um, UConn, Maryland advanced. Number two, Virginia lost to UNC Greensboro. Was that in a shootout or in
Oh,
overtime?
that was a shootout.
A
PKs.
shootout. Yep.
The Virginia player skied one to send Greensboro through.
So it's crazy how many of the top seeds are already gone, and we could have by the time, we still have four games going on right now. It looks like number 10 High Point is in good shape, but otherwise, we could have some more seeds fall, Zach.
I
It's
really
it's it's a
like our
it's a
draws.
wide open tournament.
I
Yeah,
I mean, I like our path to the Final Four. Let's pull up this bracket. Give me one. Let's pull this up. You know what, Pete? I think I got ahead of myself there. I think we're going to talk Bryant first. The next opponent for the Billikens, they defeated Seton Hall 1-0. The game-winning goal in this one was scored by Muslim Umar. This is the second NCAA men's soccer championship for head coach Ruben Resendez and the Bryant Bulldogs.
yeah, Zach. They're a solid program. They got their first ever at-large bid this season. They're 17-2 overall. Both losses came against Vermont, which, as we've already said, was the number one team in the country. They've been ranked since September. They got up to number two nationally at one point. So
It's
they're
a
and they,
bizarre resume. I could not figure out how
yeah.
they ended up as a overall two ranking and then drop like a rock
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things when you're in that conference and Vermont's
every
really the
time
only
you.
other every loss it counts for like two or three. Like look at Indiana. They lose five conference games and they're the number six overall team, right?
Yeah.
Like you just get a lot more forgiveness if you're losing to power conference teams, and they don't have that advantage. As mid-major basketball fans, we know it. It's
Yes.
painful. They don't give up. They score over 2 goals a game. They only give up 0.6 goals a game, so they're really solid. They don't just run with one goalkeeper; they've got two, and they combine for a 79% save percentage. This guy Zach, this head coach they've got there has been great. 42 wins in just 3 seasons. I think 43 now actually. They're a solid team, and I don't know.
I
We've got. I think it's a
I
tough
was
matchup.
unimpressed. I was unimpressed by them against Seton Hall today. I just didn't. There was nothing dangerous about them. They just seemed very. I don't know. I mean, they had some good players, but like, they didn't really attack with any sort of dynamic. It just seemed meh.
Yeah.
Some of these score lines and wins they had this season, they got number 20 UMass 1-0. They beat number 22 UConn 4-1.
Hmm.
They beat let's see, number 6 Princeton. They tied them. Number 7 Vermont. They lost 2-1. But they beat up on teams like a 5-0 win over Albany, 3-0 over Brown, 3-0 against UMass, 3-0 against, or sorry, UMass Lowell. That's the real UMass. 3-0 win over
Flagship.
Stonehill. Yes, 3-0 win over Stonehill. I mean, they beat Rhode Island 2-1.
So
Take
it
that for what I
seems like
want.
when they're playing lesser competition, they can really go off. You got to shut down this guy Amaro. He was the conference leader, game-winning goals, assists, goals, points. He's their guy. He scored 10 times this season. I think if you have a game plan, if you're a better team with a strong back line, if you can game plan him, try and have the other guys beat you. I think maybe that's where you could beat this team.
Yeah, it appears this will be the first matchup between the two schools.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's not, that doesn't seem
Relatively new to
familiar.
D1.
Yeah, right. That's
Um,
right. They haven't been up all that long.
let's see. Well, you got to watch out also for Mamadi Gianna. Gianna, he looked really good in this game. He was third in their conference in goals. Paco Fernandez, sixth in conference goals. Mark Patark Bayo, which is a hell of a name. Second most assists in the American East. Furman Rodriguez and Tiago Diaz have 5 assists each, tied for fourth in the conference. Um, yeah, I again, I would have been. I'm less happy that it's a road game. I'm not worried about Bryant.
But the eye test is they just don't seem all that difficult to you.
Yeah, I didn't get again, they didn't seem very dynamic. They defended well. Um, I don't know. No,
Well,
I don't know. What?
SLU's certainly been battle tested, this year. Probably played a harder schedule than these guys. I mean, it sounds like they played as good a schedule as you can for being an
They
American
did.
East team.
Their schedule has a lot of similarities with the Billikens in that,
Okay.
we play a softer conference schedule, so we load up with really good programs.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm not really super impressed with Bryant, I am. I really like the way this draw has shaped up, and I think we need to take a look at it.
Sure.
All right, Pete, let's look at this bracket.
Yeah.
Um, you talked a little bit about the results, but St. Louis is down here. It is they just beat obviously the 6th seed. They've got Bryant. They will play the winner of Duke and Akron. Obviously, we talked about Princeton going out, which is huge.
Hmm. Yeah, huge.
Um,
Yeah. Princeton's obviously the biggest threat up there. But Zach, I will remind you that SLU went up to Akron earlier this year and lost 3-0.
you know what? I reject your reality and substitute my own, in which that never happened.
So maybe the idea is a second revenge game. Should we end
I,
up with Akron is maybe attractive.
I mean, I would love another Duke game
Hmm.
because then we get them at home.
Yeah, that's
I
true. So
think,
that
yeah.
would that be home?
No, because it would be the elite. Well, it'd be the elite eight.
It'd be the Elite
So
Eight, so it would be the last one played on either campus. But
yes,
where would we have been higher seeded than them overall? We were both teams that were not seeded and
I
had to
mean,
play in that first round.
yeah,
They played a
I
road
guess it
game
would be
though.
they would be, yeah. Well, they played Princeton, and then they'll play. I guess Akron will. I don't know. I don't know. I
Fair
like the
question.
draw. On the other side, I like us to get to the Final Four here, man. Like I really do. I think Akron's good and whatever, but like it's a different time. That was non-conference. This is the NCAA tournament. I don't
Looking
know.
before today's games, SLU was 23 in the RPI, Duke was 25. I don't know
Yeah.
how they would line it up, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, on the other side,
Or
like
the
okay,
down below the
we're going down below now. Yeah,
yeah.
sure. You've got UConn and Maryland. Maryland, I guess, on paper is the best remaining team in the whole thing, as the four seed, right?
Yeah. Which is wild. They gotta love what happened today.
Sure, sure. Yeah, all the top seeds going out. Um, you got Kansas City and Stanford there. UConn is still in it, obviously. That bracket down there, I guess, is the toughest one left, because you've got potentially three seeded teams.
Wow. This West Virginia High Point game is looking crazy right now. It was just 3-1.
It was just 3-1, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Whoa.
one
They
more.
scored while they scored live. They scored while we're live.
Yeah,
Any reproduction or retransmission is expressly prohibited by the NCAA.
that's right.
Any description of the game. Uh, of course, we're looking. We're hate watching Grand Canyon and San Diego tonight.
Hmm.
And then hey, look, Denver up one on Portland.
Right, and Portland was another team that gave SLU some issues earlier this season. Very, very good. It was a scoreless draw when we played them at home, but that seems like a clearly dangerous team.
And they're about to have a penalty kick as well. So they are going to tie this up more than likely. But that's the bracket that you talked about the number one seed being out, which is crazy, by the way.
And two and three. Yep.
Yeah, it feels like
And
they
five
may
and
want to.
six.
Yeah, it feels like they may want to take a look at the old buy system.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting what's happened here.
We do have a date and time.
It will be Sunday, November 30th at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. local time out there in Rhode Island. So yeah, Zach, pretty good time.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any um, any watch parties or anything. You know what? I will apologize. I did not go to the BPV watch party. Look, it has nothing to do. It's not a SLU fault or anything like that. I am so worried about going to a watch party and not actually being able to watch the thing I want to watch.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I've seen it too many times on streaming
Yeah.
where there's been an issue with the stream and I don't get to see it. And I do not want to be in public when that happens.
That's fair.
So like now that I know that BPV has it working 3 p.m. on Sunday, if they don't have the NFL on, which again, I was skeptical. I was
Hmm.
skeptical that BPV would actually live up to their word and have the game on. And they were. And it looked like a good time.
Yeah, good
Uh,
crowd.
but that's going to do it for soccer. And we are going to talk some basketball now. Lot to talk about with the Acrisure series coming up. Pete, let's talk about the basketball Billikens, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it, Zach. And we only have one game to go over this week, and it felt like
But
an eternity.
we have two opponents. We have three
Sure.
opponents to talk about.
Well, we have three upcoming opponents to talk about, but only one game that happened in
Yes,
the past week.
correct.
And before that game happened, felt like an eternity. Going, we're spoiled, right? We go months without basketball, and then you've got 2 or 3 games a week. And so when you've got a week where you've only got one game and it's on Friday, that's a long work week for me personally. I don't know about you.
It's brutal. It
It's
is. It is like thank God we had the Billiken soccer to also look forward to take some of the
that's
burden off the men's basketball team.
that's true.
But the Billikens beat India. No, sorry, whoopsies. Got to go by the style guide. Purdue Fort Wayne. The Billikens beat Purdue Fort Wayne, the Mastadons, 91-60 on Friday the 21st. By the way, Pete, it is absolutely time to get rid of Guy Phillips. Like I suck sometimes, but like he's making fun of contestants again.
I hate that. I
Like
hate that.
she was not very good at basketball, and he's like, you must play badminton, and that's just rude.
I've been to enough games in other gyms where the PA announcers don't live comment on what's happening in a promotional activity, right? During a timeout or halftime or
It's
whatever.
awful.
Most people are not in the course of their lives in front of arenas full of spectators when they
Yeah,
go about their lives. It is nerve-wracking, even though most of us are just going to forget about it in a few minutes. It's nerve-wracking being in front of that many people. And you need Guy Phillips humiliating you live? Come on. I don't
let's.
like it.
I mean, can we find somebody else, please? Like, I will take. Like, he's not even at every game. Well, he clearly is not committed to the position.
Yeah, and instead of like live commenting on the promos, how about you read the pronunciation guide during timeouts instead?
It's
Sometimes on our own
brutal.
players.
It's so bad. I'm done with him. It's been so long. This has gone on for so long. It is an unserious program sometimes.
32 years.
32 years. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, we said this before. We established this
Oh my
before, right?
God. I don't sometimes like I think people don't understand that I don't listen like in this show. And that's not like I don't care. It's like that I'm doing other things and I am having I'm perfectly suited for this because I can do 15 things at once, read off the script and talk to you. It's insane. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. Uh, this was the first game of the Acrisure series, and it will be followed by Santa Clara or either Minnesota or Stanford next week at the Acrisure Arena in Palm Desert, California. Is it okay to just assume that like every arena name company is a scam? Because Acrisure sounds like a scam. Like
Yeah.
we've gotten to the point in stadium naming rights that it's just these like I mean look at what happened at what FTX Arena in
hmm
Miami. Like it
Yeah, I
just
was
feels like these are like can we get back to when they were beer companies that bought these
mhm.
like
Well,
real like salt of
Enterprise
the earth.
Enterprise Center in St. Louis makes you feel pretty good, right? It's not the
uh
crypto.com arena.
right, more salt of the earth. I need more salt of the earth companies.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Not something questionable that nobody knows what it does, right? But yeah, Zach, this technically was part of that, which I guess we should have
How,
mentioned last time, but it doesn't really matter, right? It just feels like a pie game.
right. And how are you going to prepare for this tournament in Palm Springs? Me, I will be rewatching the movie Palm Springs.
Oh, that's a good
Um
one. That's a really
yeah.
good movie.
It's a weird one.
It's a
Really
fun
weird.
movie.
It's
Yeah,
really weird.
I recommend it. I haven't been out to Palm Springs since 2012. It's
Oh,
been a
you've been to
while.
Palm Springs. Okay.
I have, but I haven't been to this specific arena for what it's worth. But yeah, it's a nice place. I wish I could have gotten out there this week. I don't know if you ever looked at like flights for this thing. It was crazy how expensive it was.
How
Even
many
if you
teams do they have playing in this though?
I mean, that's true. And I know it's like Thanksgiving week and everything, but even if you went on like the kind of like off days, right? Like even say you had a little more freedom with your schedule this week and didn't have to fly on like the main travel days, there was really no way to get out there for a reasonable amount as far as I could tell. Which is a shame. It was expensive. And even if you wanted to like fly into one of the LA airports and drive, it still wasn't all that good a deal.
I'm
Anyway,
already worried about my trip to Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina for for the College Cup.
is that the
That's a tough travel.
is it is Cary, is that near Charlotte or is it
Yeah, I think it's
okay.
Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah, their airport's a mess right now too. Anyway, Zach, 91 to 60. This win over Purdue Fort Wayne. Dion Brown could not be stopped early on in this
Oh, he
game.
was awesome.
Ended up being the game's top scorer with 21 points in 21 minutes, 8 of 9 from the field, hit his only 3-point attempt, perfect from the free throw line. But really, Zach, watching him play this game, you saw his strength, his physical strength was the difference maker. Purdue Fort Wayne, their guards just couldn't contain him.
No, he was. I mean, it was one of those games where he he was going to go and go quick. If you gave him space, he was going to take it and he was going to move way faster than you could. It was the way he played in the post with such quickness compared to,
Hmm.
the usual style of kind of backing a guy down slowly. It was like watching a fast break post. He played the post out of fast breaks. It was very strange and very, very cool. And I just felt like they realized pretty quickly that Dion Brown was the guy they were gonna try to let beat him, and Dion just torched whoever his defender was.
Yeah. Yeah. He was perfectly content to do it. I mean, as good as he's been so far this season, he hasn't been a primary scoring option.
These baskets all felt like Goodwin baskets, just
Mm.
not like he made some pretty moves. Don't get me wrong here, but it was all like it was kind of like that shot put we talked about in the Grand Canyon game the last year, where it just kind of the shot it doesn't look like a natural basketball shot. It's just gonna go no matter what though, because he just will it to do so.
Sure.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm making
Yeah.
sense.
No, that's a good way of putting it. He just gets into the rim. He's got a really good sense of. It's funny because you see so many bigs who don't seem to have a very good sense of where the rim is when they're like kind of battling underneath.
Yeah,
He knows exactly what angle to take to get the ball to the rim most efficiently. He's fun to watch that way. You never quite know what he's gonna do when he's under the rim. But Zach, one of the issues that we've had so far this season, 10 first half turnovers, came back to rear its head in this one. It's just way too many. Even though they got it down to a respectable 6 in the second half, 16 turnovers in 69 total possessions, a turnover rate of 23.2%, and Shirts wants it to be under 17%. So turnovers remain a problem for this team, especially you only forced 11 turnovers. So they've been on the wrong side of that ledger more often than not this season. And because of that, you lose points off turnovers 21 to 17 in a game you win by 31. We say it every game, but if they clean this up, like wow, they're just going to blow teams out of the water.
absolutely. Don't get me too excited here, Pete. Um, Amari McCottry. I mean, again, I think we forget he's only a sophomore. Is Amari McCottry going to be like the Jason Tatum? Like he's only 18. Like
Yeah,
he's only a freshman. Yeah. Amari's going to be only a freshman until he's a senior.
that's right. Yeah, no, he didn't kind of so he was great last week, co-player of the week in the A10, but he kind of seemed like he was sleepwalking his way through this one, Zach, right? Like when the ball was in his hands, it was just like he just didn't look the same. He had 6 turnovers, just didn't look like the guy who was the player of the week, um, just a week ago.
And I wonder if you get a 10 player of the week, right? You are now on everybody's radar.
Sure.
And so, last week Amari McCottry was on like you look at the list of Billikens and you say, okay, who are we? Who's the best player here? Who do we have to stop?
Hmm.
Robbie Avila. Then you say, okay, Kellen Thames is on that list, right? So Kellen Thames is probably getting, the brunt of the defensive effort. Amari McCautry might not be third or second yet, according to the first few teams we played, right? Now you get deep into the season, a little bit deeper into the season. You have film on everybody. Amari's got headlines. Amari now moves up to, the second responsibility of the opponent's defense. So
Hmm.
he's gonna start seeing different looks. It's whether he can adjust or he finds a way to get everybody else involved. And as somebody pointed out in our comments, by the way, thank you to whoever did that. Um, he was one of the he was a top point guard coming out of Wisconsin, so we know he can distribute the rock. It's just going to be whatever he needs to do that game, and when he figures out how to adjust his game in that way and be great at it, he's going to be great at it.
Yeah, I think that's right. He's drawing probably tougher assignments. The better and better he gets, the more and more he
I
produces.
could have said it. I could have just said it like that. Unbelievable.
And maybe it's not entirely fair to say he was sleepwalking. That was the word I used. He did
Yeah,
have 10
rude,
rebounds.
rude AF.
He did have 10 rebounds, which is great. But on that last one, Zach, an offensive board after his own miss, one of the Mastadons fell on his leg,
That's
and
a
he,
that's heavy. That's a lot of weight. When a
I mean, to
mastodon falls on your leg,
yeah, they were bigger than elephants, as we know
yeah.
them today.
And if the tusk falls on you, now you're
Brutal.
looking at like an impaled situation
An adult male, you just don't want that falling on
because
your
there's
leg.
no
That's
babies. There's no babies
tons.
because they're extinct.
It's literal tons falling on your ankle. So anyway,
Yeesh.
I haven't seen any follow up on his ankle, but he grimaced pretty clearly. He kind of fell over, grimaced, and then kind of limped his way down the floor after that. Went back to the locker room, didn't come back into the game. We don't have an update on him yet, but clearly that was painful.
Yeah, tough night. Didn't have it, and so you know, hey, get the showers, man. You just got a little banged up there. Let's keep you healthy. We're gonna need you down the road.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Robbie and Trey,
They looked
attorneys at law,
They looked
Green and Avila.
fantastic, fantastic shooting the ball, Zach, and both in different ways, right? Avila, just like we said last game, when the ball this season, when the ball comes out of his hand, it's going in.
Yeah.
Whether it goes in or not, it's going in. He was 4 of 5 in this game. His one miss bounced around. It was very close. Green was 4 of 8, but he started 4 of 5, and he was just clearly feeling it. When he hit those first two threes he hit, I was like, okay, there it is. There's the Trey Green we haven't really seen yet. The guy who's taking 3 pointers, not squared up wide open, but like in stride, in rhythm, even though it's not necessarily as a coach the perfect shot you want to see. It was more like feeling it, and he was really feeling it in this game.
Um, yeah, the, it ended up being 13 of 31 from three. It started 11 of 17, and there was about a 5 minute stretch where you look up at the scoreboard and the 3 point percentage just keeps dropping 5%
Yep.
every time. And it was
Yep.
just continuously, and you're just like, okay, we can make one now.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it
we
is,
were in the 50s. We're in the 40s.
yeah, it
Okay.
is
Low 40s. Okay. High 30s.
it is so refreshing to have a Billiken basketball team where 3 point shooting does not go to die.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also early. There are games where maybe somebody is 1 of 5 or something like that and not really feeling it. It seems like there's always somebody there to pick up the slack. It's going to be interesting when we start facing harder competition, how many guys, there are inevitably going to be games where we're not shooting as well. And so I do want to see how the depth comes into play in games like that, right? Is Brady Dunlap off the bench the guy who's going to get you a big three on a night where a couple other guys have tougher assignments or they're just not going in. So yeah, that remains to be seen. But you're right. What a relief. Avila, by the way, he also led SLU at plus 27 in just 21 minutes, which extended his team lead for the season. So even though he's not the number one guy every night, Zach, his contributions are undeniable. When he's on the floor, good things happen. He stretches out defense. He hits shots. He passes. He's so valuable in so many ways.
Yeah, my guy is on his this is like coming to the MLS for like a European soccer guy. This is a retirement league the way things are playing out for him. I mean, he is let's see, minutes played. Yeah, he played 37 and 31 minutes the last two seasons. 29. Oh, sorry, got that wrong. 31 and 34 minutes played the last two seasons. He played 21 as a freshman. So he's down to 24 minutes per game.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's for you. Yeah. It's beautiful. And he's shooting the best. Well, I mean, low sample size, but as we go, he's on pace for like insane numbers.
Yeah, right now he's shooting 58.3% from three. He's leading the team in minutes, and then 3-point percentage is technically Otieno is leading 2 for 2.
Yes, the Reggie Agbeko stat.
But
I use that at the game.
Of anyone who's shooting at volume, and we have quite a few of them, Robbie is the number one guy there.
By the way, something happened to me at this game that has not happened to me in a long time. I don't know if ever.
Okay.
I cannot remember, and maybe this is just time passing and me getting older and memories fading, but I cannot remember the last time I saw just like a group of dudes who were around me at the Billiken game who just kind of decided they wanted to see some good basketball. And they were like, they came to the game, they were having a good time and getting really into the game and like standing up and like, I can't remember that happening in a long time. And that stood out to me. And I was very good to see.
It's really good to see. And if we have a good week out in California, a good, week and a half, whatever it is out there, there could be a even more energy, I think, by the time they get back home. And even though we don't have headliners in the non-conference coming back, I do think, Zach, you're right. Like those vibes are going to keep picking up.
Yeah, it was very cool. I just,
it's great.
It felt like somebody who had watched from afar for a while, whether he was a season ticket holder in the past or, an avid, attendee in the past, but it just felt like they kind of, it was just good vibes, in 108.
There were 8 other guys in the game, all between plus 11 and plus 20. They all played from 14 to 23 minutes each. So really balanced, and a lot of different rotations are effective. But another good note here, Zach, defensively, Purdue Fort Wayne's leading scorer, Corey Hadnot.
Love that name.
I'm so glad it's pronounced that way too. Like I was like, if it's not Hadnot, it's going to be embarrassing. But yeah, that's right. He was limited to just 3 points and fouled out. He had 2 fouls early, sat a big chunk of the first half, and just never got in a rhythm after that. I thought SLU's guards did a fantastic job on him. He's a guy who scored 19 points a game coming into this.
Yeah, I loved what the Billikens did on defense for most of this game. Obviously, some of it was not the best, but I loved what we did. The only guy who scored for the Dons, if you will, above his average was Mikhail Stevenson. He ended up with 15 and came in averaging 13.3. Somebody's gonna score. Somebody's gonna score.
Yeah, even when you score 61, somebody's going to hit their average. It happened to be him, and he didn't go very far over it, so I'll take it. It. SLU out rebounded Purdue Fort Wayne 50-24. It was like 7+ minutes into the game before the Mastadons actually got their first rebound. A lot of that had to do with SLU's hot shooting to start the game, but still, I don't know if I've ever seen a game go that long before one team gets a rebound.
or if you talk about the beginning of the second half, I believe it was 5 minutes without a bucket for PFW.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, which was a 14-0 run.
That's amazing. There are just a lot of crazy numbers that have popped up so far this season. Even when the competition gets harder, I hope we see some more of these kind of crazy runs. Um, we do have to call it fair, Zach. I think SLU actually seemed to get a home whistle in this game. Only
That
11
I
fouls in the game compared
that
to
never
16 for
happens.
PFW. I think they only had two or three in the first half, if memory
I
serves.
I swear this has never happened to me before.
So this is the first time, huh?
It's the first
Yeah,
time.
first time. But I don't know. I kind of felt like this was a game where, yeah, sure, I felt like Purdue Fort Wayne fouled more. But there were a few that I think went uncalled on SLU, and I don't know. I'm fine with it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, when the Billikens win, I don't complain about the refs. When the Billikens lose, I complain about the refs. I'm transparent about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we both are. I think we both are.
Um, anyway, the Billikens never trailed in this game. It was never in question, and yet still a lot to work on. I want to talk about though Josh Schertz. This wasn't in the notes, but I just remembered it. Josh Schertz talked about how the opponents have to take us to that greatness, right? They have to challenge us, and I just thought it was an interesting quote, considering that our schedule is filled with opponents who aren't exactly very good,
Mm,
let alone
that's
great.
true. Wait, I missed that quote. So what was
It
he
was
saying?
in the Substack. So he's talking, or no, that wasn't his sub. It was in his post game.
Post game,
He
okay.
talked about we're going to need our opponents to challenge us to take us to great.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so he was just kind of talking about the ramping up of the schedule. And I mean, the thing about it's funny because Minnesota, Stanford, Santa Clara, um, they're all decent games, but they're almost not decent enough to be worth playing,
Mm,
and
yeah.
that's completely effed up.
Yeah, I mean, well, you don't want to sound like a power conference team who's like we've got no, like looking at a mid-major like we've got nothing to gain from playing these
No.
games. But yeah, I know what you mean, right? Like we'll get into it in a minute. They all kind of occupy this sort of weird gray area in terms of not be they're games you should win, but they're not guaranteed. Like they're tricky. They're quad two and three games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is at this point. The schedule is the schedule. I'm going to keep saying that it's kind of bad, but we're going to play it.
Sure.
Next up will be, by the way, I hope everyone's scheduling their Thanksgiving dinner for like 4 o'clock because the Billikens are going to be playing at 6 p.m. on
Mm.
Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, against Santa Clara. Pete, talk a little bit about Santa Clara, and then I'll give the little blurbs on Minnesota and Stanford.
Yeah, Zach, I honestly think they set this thing up wrong because you've got SLU and Santa Clara playing on one side and Minnesota and Stanford on the other side, and I think these are the two best teams. So Santa
Yeah.
Clara is the best of the three that we would play. SLU opened the season last season against Santa Clara and lost
Uh,
85-78. That was the one where Robbie re-injured
shh.
his sore ankle. I
No,
know,
no,
I
no,
know.
no, 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 no,
Keep
no,
listening,
no.
keep listening.
Zip it.
Because the guys who beat SLU last season are mostly gone. But 10th year head coach Herb Sendek is back with a new cast that I think might be better than last year. The Broncos are 6-0 with wins over lower division Cal Poly Humboldt, McNeese State, Xavier. They blew out Xavier, Nevada, Idaho State, Louisiana. For the most part, these just have not been close games. I think Idaho State was the closest, the smallest margin of victory at +9. 6'4" redshirt sophomore Christian Hammond is the top scorer at 17 points a game. Played his freshman season and then sat last year with an injury. He's just a really well-rounded three-level scorer. 6'7" senior combo forward Elijah Mahi is second at 12.5 points a game. He's a solid 220 as well. He could shoot it from outside a bit. He is a bad free throw shooter, though, under 50%. I think you'd probably rather put him on the line than let him have, you know, a strong take to the basket. They've got a 7'1" redshirt sophomore center named Bucky Oboye, who's kind of their breakout player this year. He's averaging 10.8 points a game and over 2 blocks a game. He had 7 against the Wolfpack when they played Nevada. He's actually not a very productive rebounder, like barely 2 rebounds a game, but they're content to let him clog up the middle defensively and just disrupt anything close to the basket. He has fouled out twice, and he's had like 4 in a couple other games. So he's pretty raw, but really an intriguing player. I think they like his long-term potential a lot. They've got a Michigan State transfer, Gary
I can't believe
Gomad.
this is his name.
I know it's a very weird name. He's been injured and hasn't played yet, so I don't know whether or not he's going to play Thursday. It's not like he's out for the season or anything, so he could be back soon, maybe in a limited basis. So that's something to look out for.
Gehrig Normad.
Even without him, they're a deep team. They move the ball extremely well. They average about 20 assists per game. They're plus 11 on average rebounding margin. They've got both size and depth. 5 guys have over 7-foot wingspans. So really disruptive defensively, good rebounding team. They don't turn it over much at all, barely over 10 a game. So there's an area of concern, we'll call it, for SLU right there. Teams are only shooting 37% against them and 28 from 3. So now you've got one of the best shooting teams in the country facing them. Something's got to give, Zach. This is a really, really interesting matchup, I think.
I am not looking forward to it at all. It's going to be tension, tension, tension. And
Yeah.
I don't want to get in an argument with people on Thanksgiving.
No.
Like,
it's
I
a
don't want to
time
be in
for
that frame of
togetherness.
mind on, yeah. Like, it's just, I hate
That's
it.
right.
We should not be in MTs anymore. Cancel MTs.
There you go.
Terrible idea, Zach. Minnesota, 4-2 with wins over Gardner Webb, Alcorn State, Chicago State, and Green Bay. Those are 4 of the like lamest wins you could possibly have.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Mizzou and then future Billiken opponent San Francisco. 6'7" senior Cade Tyson is their star, averaging 21.8. He was at Belmont for 2 seasons, then mostly sat at UNC last season. He's lighting it up from all over for Minnesota. Jalen Crocker Johnson, that's a tough. I'm so glad I got that right. Is averaging a double-double, and he's a load inside at 6'8", 240. No one else on the roster. I mean, I don't see anyone else on this roster that should scare Billiken fans, to be honest. They shoot 29% from 3. They protect the ball pretty well, only 11.3 turnovers per game. They were picked to finish 16th of 18 in the Big Ten. So far, there's nothing to indicate otherwise. 18 teams is entirely too many, Peter.
It is the Big Ten, so why not have 18 teams?
The Big 18. Stanford is 4-1, coming off a loss to Seattle. They had beaten Portland State, Montana State, and Louisiana, all power teams. They were picked to finish 17th of 18 in the ACC. They're also a below average 3-point shooting team. They only shoot about 32%. They protect the ball pretty well as well, just 0.1% or just 0.1 turnovers less than Minnesota. They force a lot of turnovers, though, 17 per game. So there it is, just like Minnesota, the turnover margin is going to be an area of concern. I think it's going to be an area of concern no matter what, really.
All 3 of these games, though, like very, our position of weakness is their position of strength and vice versa when it comes to turnovers. So, yeah, even more so than usual.
Add the number 9 seed in this NCAA tournament out. Grand Canyon just beat San Diego.
Oh, man.
I know. It's just crazy. But like Minnesota, 1 score. There's nothing else to really be intimidated by. Ibuka Okori is that dude. He averages 23.8. He's only a freshman. He's only 6'2", super active. Your Yuri Collins with scoring kind of, your Yuri Collins, your Tremaine Isabel. You're your diminutive point guards, and we have another fight. Let's see. Pesky defender. He'll stay out of foul trouble. It's going to be a tough matchup. Chisholm Akpara is a 6'8", 240 senior, averaging 16 points per game and 4.4 rebounds a game. He does not pop off the stat sheet, but he doesn't really have any major holes in his game either. Santa Clara will, as you say, be the biggest test in this event, and the Billikens should beat either of these other two.
Yeah, I think that's right, Zach. It's going to be a fun week. Going to be really interesting, and I'm going to be feeling really good if we beat Santa Clara. I mean, to me, that's the really big one. If we win that, I'm going to feel like anything else is possible in this non-conference schedule.
And see, that's why they made a mistake putting Santa Clara and SLU up against each other on Thursday.
I think so.
Because Thursday is supposed to be the day that you play like the lead-in game.
Yep. And I'd much rather have one of the other two.
San Diego soccer coach looks exactly like you'd think a soccer coach in San Diego would look like in his 60s. Let's whip it around the A10, Pete. Why don't you talk about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll hit them with the weekend.
Yeah, got off to a tough start on Monday, Zach, with 85-79 win for number 25 NC State over VCU. Good effort from VCU, and they looked tough, but NC State was just a little too much for them. And then Penn, 83, St. Joe's, 74. Not a good effort from St. Joe's, now led by Penn's former coach. St. Joe's just not a serious program anymore. Tuesday, the 18th, George Mason, 79, Jacksonville, 57. Rhode Island, 86, Yale, 77. That's a sneaky good win there for Rhode Island. Wednesday, the 19th, Duquesne, 92, Loyola, Maryland, 78. George Washington, 89, UMBC.
That Duquesne game was played at St. Vincent St. Mary's.
Oh, was that the one? Okay.
Yeah.
You're right, on Wednesday. George Washington, 89, UMBC.
Or no, 52. I lied. I'm sorry.
I thought it was later in the week.
It was my fault.
Richmond, 87, VMI, 54. Villanova, 70, LaSalle, 55. Dayton, 77, Marquette, 71 in overtime. This was the most annoying game to watch. It didn't seem like either team actually wanted to win, with Dayton coughing up a 12-point lead, both teams failing to get a shot in their final possession of regulation. But UD hit a couple early threes in overtime, and Marquette just didn't have the offensive juice to catch up in that game. Zach, Thursday to Sunday, how did the rest of the week go for the A10?
Well, it's funny when you talk about this Dayton Marquette game, when you used to be able to say stuff like, I don't think either team was trying to win this game, and not worry about the gambling aspect. Wait a minute. Hold on. They really all looked like they weren't trying to win this game.
There were so many times where I was like, confiscate their phones, like in my head, like that's immediately where my mind goes now. Cause it's just like, what are you doing with that offensive set? But it happens.
It's amazing to watch how much like Dayton is funny because the fans desire something better than Anthony Grant. But Anthony Grant is not a bad enough coach to be fired.
Right.
Like he's just good enough to not be fired, but also not go to the NCAA tournament every like 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good
win
point.
The A10. It's wild. It's funny. It's actually funny to be stuck at a level of advanced mediocrity that you can't fire your coach to go get better. It's very funny. Thursday, Bonaventure 75, Robert Morris 61, Fordham 69. Nice. Long Island 53, UNLV 99, St. Joe's 85. Friday, the 21st, Davidson 59, Boston College 49. BC has to be the worst team in the ACC, right? By the way, BC is one of they are on my list of like the worst Power 5 athletics programs,
Yeah.
all encompassing. Like there's just like them and like Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
The
I say
ACC
this
has a
every
few of
year.
those.
Like they just. I mean, Georgia Tech football was actually good last year. I think. I think they're good this year too. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, Northern Illinois 76, Loyola 59. I
I,
There's nobody at this game.
Nobody at this game.
Nobody. It was dead
Oh,
in that
empty.
place.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet I still thought you were like, okay, here's a team that's like in the 300s, right? Like Northern Illinois is bad. Like this is a get right game for a team that has had a horrible start to the season. And they were just like never even in it. It was shocking.
I don't know what is going on over there. I mean, they've talked about, that they spent a lot of money on a
Yeah.
roster.
Oh yeah. They were consensus top 5 or so in the A10 coming into this season. And they
I thought
looked
we were
terrible.
I thought we were post being surprised by things in sports.
I don't think
Like,
so, man.
but like no, like it just seems like we've gotten to a point in our existence in a lot of different places where there's a formula for almost everything.
Hmm.
And it feels like we are at a point where that formula keeps everybody at least good enough. Like they're everybody's starting to make the right decisions.
Hmm.
And it's just very odd to see a team that apparently did all the right things in this situation. Now, whether Drew Valentine is a good coach or not remains to be seen, I guess. But it seems like they hired the right guy. It's just odd to see how bad they actually are. 67 spot plummet in Ken Palm. And know that Peter was not almost vomiting over there. He just had a little cough.
I put it on mute, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah. No, you
All
did.
right.
I just thought it was you looked with muted while you're muted. It looked like you were about to vomit. Like it
I'll have
looked
to
like you
bring
were
my hand
coughing
up next
something
time.
up, like
I
choking on
apologize.
something. Um, Saturday the 22nd, Dayton 74, North Carolina Central 55 is one of those teams that you start your career mode, your dynasty mode on college hoops with North Carolina Central. Northeastern beat Duquesne 93-86 at St. Vincent St. Mary's. Absolutely brutal game. Not only is it a brutal game to lose, like you also didn't have a stream because it was at a high school gym,
Right.
which is awful. LaSalle 75, Lancaster Bible College 46. Richmond 102, Gardner Webb 6-7. VCU 101, Coppin State 58. Sunday the 23rd, McNeese State 92-86. Georgia Washington could still put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, they still scored, but there goes their perfect record and all the hype, around them. I think you lose at home to McNeese and people start asking
No, that was
questions
in the
about.
Virgin Islands
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. It was a
or
neutral site,
Cayman.
but
It's
still.
Cayman Classic.
But I think nonetheless, people are, they start asking questions at that point rather than just be like, this is a great team who scores a whole lot. So could happen to us too. You never know.
Davidson and Utah State are entangled as we speak. Right now, Utah State is up 31-22 in that game. Pete, I watched a little bit of the Missouri State game the
Hmm.
other day. Oh my God.
Just
Like shut it down.
like empty.
There's nobody. It's an 11,000 seat arena. There's nobody there.
So they're kind of the UMass situation. Like they left the Missouri Valley where they've got all of these, historic geographic rivalries, and they went to Conference USA for football, to chase D1 FBS football, and at what cost, right? Is
Yeah.
my question there because there are a lot of FBS programs that people don't even know are in FBS because they're never part of the conversation. UMass being
But
one of
they're in
those.
a video game.
They're in a, I sure fine whatever, but I just like it feels like this is going to come at the expense of every other sport that they
That is
host.
I really hope that arena gets a lot of concerts.
John Q. Hammond Arena.
I think it's like
Did they
it's
rename it?
yeah, it's an insurance, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
Or it's
Yeah,
Great Southern Bank Arena.
he was the one who donated the money in the first place to get it built. But anyway, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Good luck to Missouri
It's
State, but
brutal.
I think it's just stupid this pursuit of football at all costs.
I watched a video on when they try to do one AAA football,
Mm,
full no scholarship football under the Division 1 banner.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Did it work?
No, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
You know what works every time? Getting 2 men in a garden salsa for the party.
Yeah, Zach, but I think it works every time, and sometimes it works a little too well. I know you and I, over the years, there have been various points in our lives where we've been overserved, and we just want to remind everyone to enjoy two men in a garden
Yes,
pickles responsibly, because if you are overserved, like Carlos Leatherman, he may have hit the brine a little
he
too hard
he hit.
on in that Kentucky game, and the game was delayed that second OT while he finished vomiting over on the sideline. So
It
uh,
was not because of the taste.
it wasn't because of the taste. It's a lot of sodium to consume in a really short amount of time. So we ask that no matter how good you think two men in a garden pickles are, and they are good, exercise some restraint. Don't go too hard, especially if you're about to play, the 105th minute of a highly competitive Division 1 soccer game. So we always ask you to exercise restraint and caution, and enjoy Two Men in a Garden responsibly. Head to twomeninthegarden.com and check it out for yourselves.
Pete, let's talk a little women's basketball here. Not a lot to talk about. Um, a tough week for the Billikens.
Yeah, they lost 81 to 75 at Illinois State Friday the 21st. Of course, they only had one game this week, and it was 30 minutes before the men tipped off. Not the most
Ideal.
favorable timing. No, but just like the Murray State game, Zach, the Bills hung tough for a long time, but it just got away at the end. They actually led for most of the game, about 26 minutes overall. And if not for a complete disaster of a 6 point second quarter, they probably would have held on.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they did not. It's just the home team got to the free throw line a lot in the fourth quarter. I wasn't as bad as it was last game, but I mean, you look at these free throws, they had 15 free throws. They made 11 of them. SLU only got 3 chances at the line. Now, are the Billikens not drawing fouls? That's a great question.
I
I
mean,
don't
some
know.
of those were playing from behind and fouling to try and extend the clock a little bit, but it's still I don't know if maybe that if this keeps happening every game, if there is kind of a discipline thing here, right? Interestingly, SLU's top three scorers were the freshmen. Kira Brown had 16, Jada Dennis and Alyssa Kirkenmeyer each had 15. So the top two, normal scorers, Alexia Nelson, she had 13, but really took a while to get going. And then Zaya Nugent just had a really tough game, going 2 of 11 from the field. And then Nelson and Dennis both fouled out too, of course, because they were racking up those fouls late in the game. But I will say, Zach, the 3 point shooting is one promising note this season. They went 7 of 16 overall for 44%, which is just, you didn't see that at all last season. They were maybe 22%, half of that, right?
Yeah. Again, that's I this team's got to win, and if 3 point shooting is one of their strong suits, hey, it puts them in a better position. I think going forward, at least. I
Yeah.
have no idea what to make of this team at all.
No, I just, look, it was a really evenly played game. The box score reflects that. There really aren't any stats that pop out. It's just that foul disparity, and how much of that is home cooking, how much of it is discipline, how much of it is playing from behind. It's probably a combination of all the above. But Zach, as you and I kind of struggle to figure out like who is this team and what could they be, and it's also hard not to ask what could they have been, because while we're watching them and kind of scratching our heads, there are some former players who were kind of, my understanding, kind of run off from the program, right? When we had the coaching change or
Yeah.
shortly after, and they are lighting it up at other schools.
Yeah. Mia Nicastro is currently second in the nation in scoring at 27.3 points per game for her 4-0 Western Illinois team. She's behind only Hannah Hidalgo and just ahead of Audie Crooks. Ashley Connor is leading the 4-1 LaSalle Explorers at 19.2 points per game, shooting 50% from three. That would be really nice to have.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Next up for the Billikens will be the Music City Classic in Nashville over Thanksgiving. SMU, they will play on Tuesday, or sorry, well, I guess over Thanksgiving, sort of. SMU is 1-4 with a win over Grambling State and losses to North Texas, Texas Tech, Cult of the Grand Canyon, and K-State. K-State and North Texas games were close ones. The rest, not so much. They're not a great shooting or rebounding team. They do force a lot of turnovers. If that's one thing they do well, forcing turnovers is one of them. Kyla Deck has 19 steals, so she's the defensive pest to look out for in this one. They're also a decent shot blocking team, Pete. They want to either force a turnover or wear the shot clock down. If it's a low scoring game, they're in it. If it's a high scoring game, they're probably in trouble. This could be an ugly one. On Wednesday, the Billikens will take on Stetson. The Hatters are 3-2 with wins over Morgan State and two lower division teams. Losses to Alabama and Towson. 5'9" senior guard Cameron
Probably
Thomas.
supposed to be Cameron.
Oh, I mean, I really don't. I don't like. I don't take any chances. It's very possible it could be Cameron.
It is Cameron. It's Cameron. Where's the spell check when you need it? Come on, Google.
Ron Burgundy will read it if you put it on the Cameron Thomas. Thank you, Peter.
Sure.
Is their leading scorer at 16.2 points per game. She shoots 39.3 from three, almost 90% from the line, with two blowouts against D1, non-D1 competition. I don't know if we can put a whole lot of stock in their team stats, but they do seem to be a good defensive team. I think these are games that the Billikens got to win.
They really are. Yep, they really are. Stetson is in a very low level conference. Haven't played anybody yet, and then SMU is just not good. They're 1-4. So yeah, these are both games on paper. SLU's got to win. I don't even think a split is good enough, Zach.
Let's see, women's soccer, Pete. We have a portal entrant.
We do, and it's going to happen. Probably going to be a couple more on the way. But Sydney Dulac announced she was transferring on Monday. She's a freshman from Libertyville, Illinois. Didn't play this season, so we never really got to know her. And maybe she just felt like she wasn't part of the plan going forward. So she hit the portal.
Swimming and diving competed at the House of Champions in Indianapolis, November 20th to the 22nd. Kyle Algram set three program records. 3:54.46 in the 400 meter IM in the prelims on Friday. 15:40.57 in the 1650 meter freestyle. That's the mile. Mm-hmm. And then 9:25.63 in the first 1,000 meters of that event. He finished fourth overall in the 1650. A ton more results, but he was the headliner for SLU. Next up, they'll head to Omaha, or they'll do have a dual meet against Omaha. Baseball, Pete. Some news. A little bit more of the shakeup with the program, but also some signings.
Yeah, Jason Erie left his position as an assistant coach for a job as an infield coach with the Cardinals minor league organization. So that's the role he held at SLU. He was, led the infielders. So good for him. Good opportunity, and he's moving on. Fall signing class, Zach. Craig Ring. I don't know if it's Ringe or Ring. an infielder from Eureka High School who also plays football. His dad played for Central Missouri and was drafted by the Texas Rangers back in 2002. He bounced around the minors for a bit before getting into coaching. And he was at Lindenwood a few years ago, but I'm not quite sure what he's doing now. Max McKenna, right-handed pitcher out of Shawnee Mission South High School in Leawood, Kansas, already threw a perfect game as a high school pitcher, and he's got one season to go. And then Logan Sutton, the shortstop, second baseman, outfielder from Liberty High School in Kansas City, also plays football. Like the first one we talked about, he's the one who announced his commitment the day before we found out about Hendrickson being let go. And it's not just Sutton, but the other two also committed before Hendo departed. So I guess credit to Miles Miller for retaining them because I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of it's a what a mess that has to be for Miles Miller. Credit to him for sure.
Yeah.
Volleyball, no portal entrance as of recording this. Still possible, but I think they're thinking that they won't have any portal entrance, but or at least they haven't yet. So, barring, I guess, anybody reaching out to these players and pulling them away, it seems like they might all be returning. All conference honors: Jetta Brenning, second team all conference, and all rookie team. Ellie Rink, all rookie team. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. A soccer heavy week. I think it always puts us on the back foot a little bit when we got to really dive into soccer.
We do. And we're going to have another week to be talking about it, Zach, because,
And I'm super happy about that.
I am too. I'll take the more crowded outline if it means that our Billikens are making a deep run. So we should have a fun game to talk about next week.
Yep. All right. That's going to do it for us. Pete, Billiken soccer is on to the Sweet 16. Let's throw a little roll bills at them this week.
Roll bills.